I published a video earlier today, and on that was on automatic transmissions on Peugeot cars. Why you should or why you should not buy one. So when you watch the video, if you have not watched it, go and watch it. From there, you understand um, the conditions I stated out. That if you find it comfortable to live with, then you buy Peugeot car with automatic. If you're uncomfortable with that, then there is no need to go for that. So, but I mentioned in that video that I was going to talk about manual transmission so that people will not think that, oh, it's only automatic transmission that you have to worry yourself uh, over. So now from the 90s, you could say, okay, I don't want to say authoritatively when this started, but I would say from the late 90s, at least the one I know, from the late 90s, um, this is the oil Peugeot recommended till today, till this very moment for their manual transmissions. I repeat, from the late 90s, I'm saying what I know. It's possible that it started early 90s, but from the late 90s till this very moment, today is 2nd June, if I'm not mistaken, 2nd June 2024. Till this very moment, this is the recommended manual transmission oil for all Peugeot cars produced from that time with manual transmission, manual gearbox. So if you own a Peugeot car produced around that time till today, this is the oil Peugeot says you must use. I'm talking about even Peugeot cars that were produced last year, as in brand new cars that were manufactured, assembled last year. As long as they have manual transmission or it has manual transmission, this is the recommended oil. Now there could be maybe a truck or bigger vehicles or whatever, but I'm talking about at least cars or SUVs, cars that use basically, or automobile that use almost same engine or transmission with normal cars. This is recommended oil. Now, some might be wondering, but this is a new product. Yes, it's a new product. Actually, it started off with a different container and label. The first time it was BV no BV 75w-80. Then at some point it was renewed. It was changed. The name was changed after it was improved on, and it was renamed Total Gear 8 75w-80. Now recently it was also changed and improved on, and now is the new name now is Traxium Gear 8 75w-80. So for those who might be wondering again, but this is a new product that was launched recently, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is the same oil, the one that had that name BV 75w-80. You see the same, except the only difference that this is now an improved one than the old one. So yeah, this is more like a better one that will serve you better. In fact, Total even stated their claim, which I'm going to show you. It can even last much longer than the BV 75w-80 or the Gear 8 75w-80. But it's still the same oil. It's still meant for you to use on the gearboxes that were recommended for BV 75w-80, or gearbox that were recommended produced in the late 90s, 2000 and the rest. Let me show you so that you understand what I mean. So this is the product description. I got this from Total site or website. So this is not like an article or someone that probably doesn't know what he's talking about. This is claim from Total. Now, if you go down, second paragraph, it said Traxium Gear 75w-80 is specifically recommended for PSA manual gearboxes. Now, there are other manual gearboxes, no, other manual gearboxes oil that Total produce. It's not just this. There are so many of them. Of course, this is also a fully synthetic gear oil. It's a synthetic oil. While they also have mineral or whatever gear oil and even other synthetic oil. However, this one is specifically made or recommended. You can see it says specially recommended for PSA. As in they know, remember Peugeot produces their manual gearboxes, unlike other brand of car that buy from other companies that produce manual gearboxes. No, Peugeot produce their own gearboxes. So Total already know the kind of technology they use or design of their gearboxes. So that's why they produce this oil, at least especially for Peugeot cars with manual transmission. The other oil you could use, even maybe other ones you could also use, Total oil you can use on Peugeot, but it's not this one. So if you want your Peugeot manual gearbox to last you much longer, look at the next sentence. It says, uh, let me read it again. Traxium Gear 875w-80 is specially recommended for PSA manual gearboxes with extended drain interval 250,000 kilometers. Remember the BV 75w-80, that first old one. Um, I think the maximum change interval is about like 80, no, 100,000 kilometers. Could do 50,000 kilometers. I think it was like 50,000 kilometers. Then the Gear 8, when they first produced the Gear 8, we knew that BV. The second one that came out was close to 100,000. Now this one is 250,000. Imagine you keep driving your manual gearbox for close to 300,000 kilometers without touching the oil. You might think, oh, this is just a sales pitch. I've experienced this oil. Well, at least when he had that, when he had BV, I bought it with BV and also with Gear 8 when the Gear 8 came out. So I know what I'm saying. Before even this one came out, the Traxium Gear 8. So it's not a sales pitch. My first is V6. I needed to change when I got the car. The speedometer was not working, so I knew from the scan to the issue was the vehicle speed sensor or the transducer attached on the gearbox. So in order to remove it and do everything, oil started pouring out. You need to see that oil. As in, it was as if it was water. You know how transparent water is? That was how that oil was. How many thousands have they been driven in that condition? I do not know. But that was how the oil was. What I'm saying is, compared to engine, once you drive engine for how many kilometers, the oil immediately changed to black. As in, it was okay. Aside this, right now, even in that 406, that's also the current oil. At a point, I have to change it, drain it, purchase this. Was it the Gear 8? The last time I did, what you have there is Gear 8, or is it PV or Gear 8? I can't remember. But anytime I needed to remove my CV joint to do any work, sometimes I would like to drain the oil so I won't lose anything. Do this. The oil will still remain the same color. Viscosity the same. How many thousands of kilometers have I added since then? Then compared to this new one now that we extended it to, when they say 250,000 kilometers, it means, even close to 300, you can still run without intact. So, I don't know what else. This is the certification code. You can see where it say approved PSA B71230. I think the code they have changed. I think it was something else in before, in the time of 406, in the early 2000. Now it has changed to 2330. So you can see this is the certification from Peugeot that this is meant for their gearboxes. I think it's manual, not saying automatic. They are manual this thing. So if you are searching for, now there's a reason why I wanted to do this video. Initially, of course, even up to today, this oil is not available in Nigeria. I don't know about your country, but right now in Nigeria, it has never been available, at least in the open market. So, since I started checking, you could say at least from 2013. Yeah, let's leave it at that. There's no place I did not check. Even in Kaduna, anywhere, Pan, name it, they didn't have it. Now, I started to import because I could get it from Europe at that time. So from Germany, UK, name it. I mean, so many places. I've ordered it many times, so it's not like once. So I was ordering, importing, selling until eventually, I don't know. I can't say that, like recently, but it got to a point. The shipping cost, not necessarily the purchase cost, at where I was just too high. So I stopped. Because it will now affect the resale, the resale price. I mean, imagine if we had to buy, how much was I buying that time? Like 2,000 naira per liter. Let's just say maybe like 2,000 a liter. Then I will spend like 8,000 or 7,000 to ship to Nigeria. Then I'll now sell a liter. How much? This was then, no, I'm talking about like 2015, thereabouts. So you are looking at selling a liter. I remember when was the last one I sold was probably close to 15,000 naira a liter or thereabout. So it wasn't just moving market anymore, so I stopped. So the remaining ones I kept them for my cars, which is one of them now is in 406. So it got to a point. Remember, I've done conversions on my two of my cars from automatic to manual. So the first one I did, I used this gear because remember I kept the oil. So I used this gearbox oil, this 75w. That was gear 8. So I put it. I mean, the shifting was something else, just like my phone system. Can use two fingers to shift. Quiet, no noise, no grinding, nothing. So a few days after the conversion, I now noticed there was a leakage from the gearbox. You could call it gearbox oil pan. So because it was not how these Tokumbo things can be. As they were moving the gearbox around, it was actually a metal, not a cast. So it hit and kind of perforate, punched it, and it started, so it was leaking. I didn't know even after the conversion until I started seeing it on the ground. So unfortunately, what has I've lost close to a liter. So what was remaining was like 1 liter out of is it 2 liters or 2 point something? I've forgotten. So, and I didn't have enough to add up to that 1 liter after I fixed that leakage. So since then I drained it and I started buying what you find available. It's like in Nigeria, you find 85w-80 total one and so many. It got to a point I was just trying different this thing I could find because I couldn't import anymore based on the price, or shipping cost. So I could see, so there was one I even tried. What's the name? Let me not mention the name. I don't want anybody to say this thing. So it was a German product. This one, it wasn't even 75w-80, but it was 75w-90. And it actually synthetic, everything. They praise it. I went online to see if I can find a review. I mean, it wasn't bad. A few I could see. This, like I said, other European brands were, people are buying it. Not like it was an OE or OEM product, but it wasn't bad. So I said, okay, if other people are using it on their manual cars in their other brands, modern cars, why not? Since it's also a synthetic oil, I ordered it too, 2 liters. No, about 3 liters or so. I put it in my 607. That was on May, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was 2022, sometime maybe in May 2022, because there was something that happened that I could still remember. So that's why I remember in May 2022. Put that oil there. About 2 weeks later, I was on expressway. I was kind of hearing one kind of noise. Differential. There's a way differential can, when it starts, as if it wants to fail, it starts making one kind of, I won't call it grinding sound, but sort of. Within, I was like, come on, why this? Because it was like about 3 4 days after I did this. I did the oils, put this oil, so-called synthetic. We're just making that sound. I was like, since when did this happen? The only thing that could cross my mind was I did oil change. Then all of a sudden this thing started. And it's supposed to be synthetic. And even when I did it, since that very moment I did it, the gear became even harder to shift. So I was like, okay, maybe because it's trying to, the old oil was the mineral one, I wish I drained that and I put synthetic. Maybe it's reacting to it a little bit. It was much harder to shift, even when the mineral oil, which was 85w-90, was there. It was even more smooth, not necessarily smooth, but better to shift, that or easier to shift than when I put this synthetic 75w-90 for so-called German product. I don't want to mention the brand, like I said. So, but what scared me the most wasn't necessarily because it was shifting, getting harder to shift the more I use it. It was that sound. This is a V6 gearbox, V6 model gearbox that are very, very hard to get. And even when you find it, there were times that for 2 3 months, you won't even see one. Even in Lagos, in Abuja, you won't find any V6 manual gearbox. In Kaduna, will be searching everything. Ask people that drive for some Peugeot V6 manual transmissions. There are cars that have manual transmission. I've had a course to change theirs or done conversion from auto to manual. Some of them, you would tell you that probably at the point they needed to buy that gear, but they couldn't find it. You will search, do everything. So that was what my major concern. It's not that necessary that if this thing damage this gearbox, I may not be able to find another one in the next near future. So guess what? I think it was like 2 months later or so. Maybe just say maybe like July or something. But I tried to use it for additional 1 month. I just couldn't. After like a month, I drained it immediately. Drained it out and put back the mineral one that is available here in Nigeria. The one I ordered, I actually ordered it via Jumia, if I'm not mistaken. I think the seller was in Lagos or something. So it wasn't like I ordered it from outside, because if I could order this one from outside, if I could afford to order this one, then I could as well order the recommended one, which is the Total BV or Gear 8. And I put back this 85w-90 that is locally available here. The noise went away till today. Till today, since 2023 to today, that noise went away. So there are the times people will come and be asking me, please, what's the recommended? Because I always tell people, if I'm buying car for you or you're a client, I will say, see, this gearbox, this manual gearbox is running well. However, don't take it for granted. If you have your way, import the oil, change it. The recommended oil is this. Or maybe what you have in there now is the mineral oil or something I don't know. I can't tell what is there, since it probably bought in Nigerian use or even foreign use. Maybe they change it. So if you want this gearbox to last for you, this is recommended oil. Especially if I drive the car, notice that you have to put some pressure to shift from gear 1 to 2 to 3 to whatever. Then I know immediately that oil is not the recommended one. that somebody have changed it. Because that's one thing about this oil. I can tell you, if you want, I mean, all you need is my phone is a testimony, as in is there as a witness to tell you how good this oil is. You can put your two finger, engine is running, press your clutch, shift it, it will enter. But with other oils I've tried, before I now decided to stay with this mineral oil, you have to put your whole palms in order to shift from one to two, or this thing to this, you know. And it kind of feels rough sometimes when you are doing those shifting, which is what Peugeot even stated, as in this is what, how good. I think it was Total that stated it as one thing about this oil is cold shift will be very, very smooth compared to the other oils, at least for Peugeot gearboxes. Other oils, gearbox will need to warm up before it starts shifting smoother. But when the engine is cold, gearbox is cold, if you want to shift it, most times you will be look as if there's an issue with your gear cable. It won't enter easily. Or if you enter easily, it can kind of make a little bit noise or something. As in, it won't be smooth, you will know. Then another thing is other oil, like even this mineral oil I'm using in my 607, in my 407, and it can be noisy. You can tell the gearbox is noisy, but at least not as bad as that one that has even started making the differential inside the gearbox to be whining. Nga, 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 nga. And you know that sound, once it gets to a point, it won't go away. So that's some people have come. I know a few cases. Someone the other day was offering me that I could get oil from me from outside Nigeria, which is also total. It's also synthetic manual gear, which is also 75w-80. However, it's not this one. It's not this one. So I told him I didn't feel comfortable, because to me, if I were to order for me to order any oil outside, if it's not this one, I can as well keep using what I'm using. Because that's the other synthetic 75w-80 total is doing is also can be used. Maybe I don't know how good they will serve, but if it's not this one, like I said, I've tested. I've seen what other ones have done. There's another brand I also tested. No, that one wasn't 75. I think it was like 80. Is it 85? I was just trying any synthetic I would see. That one, that was not even different. It was as if I was driving the normal mineral oil, the total oil. So I drained it immediately. So I wasted money testing oil. That's just the summary of what I'm trying to say. I wasted money trying oil I could find in Nigeria, different kind of oil I could find here, so that I won't have to. I can change. I put this one, no difference, because I have one that has this oil. So it's not as if, oh, maybe I've not driven it for a long time to tell the difference. No, there is one I can easily go and shift and know, okay, no, the difference is still very clear. So if you can, there are people that their gearboxes have failed because they are using all this other kind of oil, or their gearbox will start making whining or become noisy or won't be shift to smooth and the rest. Or sometimes you want to especially for the MLCC, you want to shift from 1 to 2 when the engine is cold most time to make noise. Grr. It's not necessarily the only cause, but it contributes. Especially for MLCC 5C or 6C gearboxes. Those ones need this oil more than the other 5T gearbox, manual gearboxes. So be it your BE4, MLCC, ML5T, ML5C manual gearboxes, this is what you need. So the reason why I just need to point it out so that you will know and look out for it. If you have a means of bringing it to the country, please, I'll be very much interested. Let me know. Trust me. You have no idea. Other people that are driving 307, 206, 306, 8407, name them, all the other Peugeot car, even 508. Okay, not necessarily 508. I'm talking about all those ones that you find they are four-cylinder engines that are everywhere. Peugeot cars in Nigeria, aside the older vintage Peugeot cars. No, talking about these modern, newer ones or modern ones. They probably will not understand what I'm saying because their gearbox are easily, they are just abundantly in the market. They can always bring us some chicken money and collect another gearbox. Ask people that sell, dealers or parcellers, what it takes to get a V6 manual gearbox. That's when you understand what I'm saying. So you have my point is you have understand where I feel hesitant whenever somebody wants to offer me something else. I just because if this thing affects my gearbox, I don't know what to use because it might not be easy to get another one. If at all, I will eventually get that because they are fading. Remember, this is this is manual Peugeot cars were not much produced. Only very few, especially this model one, 406, 406, 407 coupe, 607 phase one. Which other one? These are basically the only uh, manual cars you can get for V6 for Peugeots. Every other one is automatic. And so even 406, not many we have manual. Mostly 406 V6 we are. I'm talking about the V6. Most of the V6 406 were automatic. Only few were manual. 407 was only the coupe that came with manual V6. So it's just a logic way of you to understand that they are not much in the market. They are reducing, they are fading. So if you have a V6 manual, hold it. Be very careful. Treat that gearbox like a gold. Because anything happens to it, it might be the end of that car. If you won't be able to get another gearbox, that might be the end of that car. What would you do? Convert to automatic. You can as well look for money and buy another car because I don't know. It won't be that cheap to do that kind of conversion from manual to auto. So that's why I'm doing this. So it's not as if manual users don't have issues because most people their gearboxes are failing. Ask some people, they'll tell you all of a sudden something one gear will stop working or stop entering or start grinding or gear will just pack up on the road. So one reason or the other is mostly because of this oil. Most are even the Tokumbo. Because remember those ones they put like the BV, they have time interval they are supposed to change, but because it's manual, keep using. Over time, you'll be giving sign, but people will ignore those signs. Keep using until one day the gearbox will be like. But one thing about gearbox, it doesn't just knock and pack up like that. But sometimes it starts showing you sign for one gear will not enter, this other one, or you're having synchro issue, this that. So you keep running it. You can run a manual gearbox for some kilometer without oil at all. If you pour oil, it start working again. They are that indestructible, but then eventually they will eventually fail if you keep running them without oil or with bad oil or with deteriorated oil, whatever, it will damage them. So this is the recommended this thing. I wish I have my way. If I have my means to get this oil to import this or anything, I'll buy as many as possible and keep for myself. I will even sell unless there is a way for me to be buying and selling, getting them easily at a much good price. Why? Because if you get them imported at high price, who is going to buy? So if I have my way, so I'm telling you, find your own way. The difference is clear when you find one. You can always tell, like when you drive foreign imported car that have not been touched in Nigeria, they've not drained the recommended oil and put or whatever, all these things that are available here. You will know the difference. Let me also warn people that buys all this other kind of thick oil that looks like grease for their manual gearbox. There are some you see. Is it GL140 or something like that? That you see locally everywhere. Be very careful. That will damage that gearbox. You can never once you start using it, you become unnecessarily noisy. And most times those noise will not go away, even if when you change and put the normal oil, it stays there. Because this oil, kind of oil, they are not meant to be run with oil like even the 504. I wanted to say gearbox like the 504. 504 manual gearboxes, you actually engine oil that, yeah, that are recommended to run in them. Which oil? 10W40. They are not thick oil, 10W40. So I don't know where Nigerians got the idea that you must use grease, oil that looks like grease or thicker grease to run it in their manual gearboxes. Just because they are, in other words, indestructible or very forgiving, that you assume that it's good for them. But it still makes them to fail after a while, no matter what. So it makes sense, as you can see, the interval 250,000 kilometers. If you can get that, this Traxium 75w-80, I wish total Nigeria can start importing this. I'm ready. I can even market it for you. It's something I'm very good at. I can market it for you. People will buy because it will be much cheaper and easily accessible if they can bring it in, no matter how small quantity. So anybody watching this video that have that can connect to whoever that is in charge of total in Nigeria. Give this a trial. Get me involved. I know the fear to do that might be high, because it'll be like majority. I mean, we are talking about 80%, if not more, of cars on Nigerian road are automatic transmissions. So if you are bringing in this manual or gear oil, who is going to buy? Because it's not about keeping it in yourself. Who is going to educate people? Who will sensitize that, okay, this is why you need this oil, not this mineral oil. Buy this one that is a little bit more expensive. Somebody needs to educate that. That's where I am. I'm very good at. So if anybody can find a way to get Total to start bringing this in better. I did that in 10W40 and eventually it worked. I don't know how they got to know because there was no means I did not try. So it appears somehow, probably the managing director or whatever heard about it or read my article. I wrote article. I even sent letters to Total, all the offices in Lagos or whatever, even here in Abuja. The need for them to start to bring in 10W40 instead of that 15W40 they were bringing. Eventually, it happened. So I hope this one will work as well. So if you drive a Peugeot, and it's not as like it's only Peugeot cars that can use this. But like I said, it's specially meant for Peugeot. So, but then other cars might be able can enjoy that too. But you can see the code B712330. So if you are looking for oil, this is certification. If you want to buy any other Total manual, or if you want to buy any manual gearbox oil that is not Total, at least be on the lookout for this what's it called, certification code B712330. But if you want to try any other oil, hey, it might even be as good as this one. It's just as I'm not comfortable. Maybe in future, if you may get a point, I will just have to risk another oil that is synthetic. At least that is the viscosity is almost close to this, or the grade will be close to the 75W-80 or the same. But for now, man, I know why I have that fear. You will not understand if you are the one driving four-cylinder engine. You will not understand why. So that's the main purpose of this video. So if you are always having issue with your gearbox failing, manual gearbox failing every now and then, understand most likely is the oil. In fact, I don't see any other reason if not the oil. They are very robust. They can run as long as you'll be surprised how long manual gearbox can run. I'm talking of 1,000,000 or more kilometer mileage. Just put the recommended oil in it and forget about the gearbox. And don't get the oil deteriorate that bad. They are also meant to be replaced just because they don't fail. So actually they might actually be failing, giving sign, but because you don't have the technical ears to listen to know that this is a sign of weakness or failure, you keep driving it in, believing that there's nothing wrong with your gearbox. Most time, people that experience gearbox failure is when you're on highway or when you're on a long journey. By that time, boom, you may have to end up towing your vehicle. But like I said, they are everywhere, easily available, very cheap for all these four-cylinder engines. So it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, imagine my 505 v6. The gearbox doesn't exist. As in, yeah, of course, it exists. But in Nigeria, no, even outside Nigeria, people were begging me the other time I removed my engine. Please send this gearbox to me. All the way from Australia, US. Please send this 505 V6 manual gearbox to me. They didn't care about how much it will cost to ship it from Nigeria to wherever they are. Thousands of kilometers away from Nigeria. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't have a V6 manual, you don't know what you have. But they can last. You don't need to worry about, hey, what if something no, they can last thousands, hundreds of thousands or millions kilometers. It all depends on oil you use in it, and keep the oil to be in fresh or good condition all the time. Okay, all right, so that's all I have.